In this lesson, we are going to learn about the algebraic language. Yes, I know there's Zulu and English and Afrikaans and all languages, but we need words to explain maths to each other. Write down these terms and definitions. An expression with one term only, like 3x, is called a monomial. Now guys, remember what a term is. In a term you can multiply and divide, but terms are separated by addition and subtraction. An expression which is a sum of two terms, like 5x plus 4, is called a binomial. So there are two terms. The word bi means two. An expression which is a sum of three terms, 3x plus 2y plus a negative 4, is called a trinomial. The word tri, like tricycle, means 3. The symbol x is often used to represent the variable in an algebraic expression, but other letters may also be used, like your name. If it starts with an M, then M can also be used. In the monomial negative 3x, the negative 3 is called the coefficient of x because the negative 3 is multiplied by the x. Remember the sign. Some learners will say the coefficient of x is 3, but it's not 3, it's negative 3. In the binomial 5x plus 4 and in the trinomial 5x minus 3y negative 9, the numbers 4 and minus 9, or 4 and negative 9, are called constant terms because they don't have any variables. So the 4 is a constant term and the negative 9. Remember the sign. What is it, Ping? Oh, you're the one that always forget the sign. Okay. So remember, positive 4 and negative 9. What are the conventions in algebra? Right, so what is a convention? Good question. It is something that people agree to do in the same way. So we all decided we're going to write mathematics in the same way to make it easier for us to understand. So write down the following conventions. The first one, you do not have to write the multiplication sign in algebra. Yay! So you can only write 5t or fg or 2xyz. You always write the numbers in the front of the letters. Look, we know that p times 3 is the same as 3 times p, but we never write p3. We write 3p. And in this one, remember, you can multiply the 4 by 3. It gives you 12. So it's not 43. It's 12ab. And negative 4 times 3, and negative times a positive, is negative 12ab. You do not write the 1 in front of the variable. So 1 times a, we just write as a. And k means 1k or 1 times k. You write powers in algebra the same way as you do with numbers. R times R times R times R is R to the power of 4. Just be careful. These are 4 terms. So they are like. So we add their coefficients, which is just 1. So 1R plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 4R. Note the difference. You do not have to use a division sign in algebra. That's cool. We write it as a fraction. Just make sure of the order. The first one must be the numerator and the second one the denominator. You write variables in alphabetical order. So GFH is FGH. Okay, first let's start with your question. Ping, what is an algebraic expression? Well, it indicates a sequence of operations that can be described in words. Expressions in brackets should always be calculated first. If there are no brackets, it means multiplication and division must be done first, and addition and subtraction afterwards. So let's look at this expression. In words, we can say we have to subtract 2 from 4, and that answer must be multiplied by 3x, and that answer must be added to 2. But we first do the brackets, then multiplication, and then addition. Let's look at these 2 examples. In the first one, we're going to calculate the brackets, that is 2. This is then 3x times 2. So the next step will be to multiply. And then we add. And we have to stop here because these 2 terms are unlike. We cannot add them. In the second example, we cannot calculate the bracket. But Do you still remember distribution? We can use distribution, so we can multiply the 3x by the 4x, because this property works if you multiply a number by a bracket where there's addition or subtraction in the bracket. And that will give you 12x squared, and 3x times negative 2 is negative 6x. Now we can combine the like terms. So, are there any like terms? No. We can change the order so that the highest exponent is first. We say we write it according to the degree in algebra, but don't worry about that now. 12x squared negative 6x plus 2. Here are 3 expressions, and we will use substitution to evaluate the expressions. In other words, to get an answer. Okay, so there is an expression, the first one, the second one, and the third one. They look different, yes. Do you like the last one the best? I know why, because it's the shortest, right? So let's check this out. Let's see if these two expressions give us the same answer. So let's choose any x. We'll choose x as negative 2. Remember, if you substitute, put the answer in brackets. So everywhere where there's an x, a negative 2 in brackets. And now we are going to calculate the answers. This is negative 6 plus the 2, negative 4, negative 3. And what I usually do is I add all the ones with the same signs first. 6 plus the 4 is 10, 3, so that's negative 13, plus 2 is negative 11. What if we substitute the negative 2 for x in the second one? Then we'll have negative 10, negative 1. It also gives negative 11. Yippee, so the two expressions are equivalent. Equivalent expressions are algebraic expressions that have different sequences of operations but have the same numerical value for any given value of x. It is often convenient not to work with a given expression, but to replace it with an equivalent expression. I mean, seriously, I will prefer to work with this one. It's short, only one calculation, and then we're basically done. So that's why we simplify expressions. That was the purpose of this whole topic, to understand the language of algebra so that it can help us to simplify expressions very easily, so that we can save time, so that we can be lazy but in a good way. Right, guys? Happy learning!